Welcome back to our video series on creating a COVID-19 data analyzer. In this video, we will be writing a method to show the data that we have on a graph. So this would be the next step so that when we go to write our model, we can compare the line from the model with the actual data and see how good of a fit it is. And so in order to plot things on a graph, we need to use, at this point, we do need matplotlib. So we'll have to we'll say import matplotlib dot pyplot as plt. And so this way I don't have to keep on typing matplot. So pyplot is a class inside of the matplotlib folder, basically, or it's a pyplot is a module inside of the matplotlib folder, and so we're just going to use code out of that module, and we're going to call it plt. So every place you see plt, I'm actually using pyplot. So I'm going to start by writing we have a show method. I'm actually going to rename this to print. All right, so because that's more reflective of what this is really doing. I'm going to write a method. I'm going to call it plot for now. All right, so in other words, we're going to, at some point, we're going to say c dot plot, and it should at that point then plot out the data. So the first thing we're going to do is we need to tell pyplot what data essentially we want to use. So the data that we're going to plot needs to be in the form of a list, and so I'm going to say that my x data, so thinking about this graph, on the x-axis we're going to want the dates essentially, and on the y-axis we're going to want the number of cases on that day. So we should see it grow over time. But since our dates are actually strings, what we're going to do is we're going to make a range going from 0 up to the number of items. So that like day 0, which we know corresponds with January 22nd, and then day 1, and then day 2, and so on. So I'm going to go ahead and make a list here. I'm just going to say I for I in range len of now let's see, if we think about it, US data is actually a dictionary, right? So we want the values out of US data. So what we're going to do is I'm going to actually make my y values first. I'm going to say y equals a list, and since self.us data is a dictionary, it has a field called values. And so, or I guess it's a function. And what values does is it returns a set, I believe, of the values. So the values here, remember, it's key value pairs inside of our dictionary. So it's going to be the numbers. And as of like Python, I don't know, 3.7-ish, dictionaries became ordered in Python, meaning that we know that the order we see it in is the order it's like stored in. So that's handy. So this should have everything in the right order. And so now I'm just going to say for len y, because y is a list. So I'm going to say I for I in range len of y. So now we should get 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on up to whatever the length of y is. All right, and so now I should be able to say plot dot plot, and we're going to give it x and y. Okay. And that's it for now. Okay, and then we'll say plt.show. And that's one of the other reasons I wanted to change the name of this method, is I didn't want to get confused here. So plt here is actually pyplot, and so we're saying plot it, and then in order for it to actually show up, we have to call this show method. All right, so I'm going to save my code here, and we're going to try running this. So while we can see the exponential curve right here, I kind of want to be able to see each like discrete data point. So I think right now it's connecting the dots, and I want to be able to see like each individual data point. And so to do that, it's actually not terribly difficult. Right here where we said this plot, we can give it another argument, and I'm going to make each point a red circle. And so notice that all I do is I put RO, red circle. And so then I save this, run it, and Matplotlib realizes, oh, you actually wanted red circles for each point, and there we go. Okay, so we can see this, again, we can see this exponential growth, and in particular the last few days, we see it growing very quickly, which would be expected based off of your prior knowledge with exponential growth and the video we watched. In fact, we would probably expect, if we were to zoom in on a particular, date range or whatever, we'd expect the end of every graph to basically look like this, as we've seen before. Of course, I don't think that's going to work, because if I zoom in here, it doesn't actually change the scale here very well. So I think what we'll do in our next video is we're going to try to do that. We'll try to kind of model off that video we saw, and we're going to make it so that our plot here is going to take in another parameter, I suppose. So think about, how would we go about getting plot to only show, say, the first 10 days, or the first 12 days, or the first 20 days, or the first n days, so that we can kind of, no matter what, we can kind of see that exponential growth. So that'll be it for this video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.